Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Screen. I am JM. This is a show where we sit around, we talk about games, we talk about board games, role-playing games, card games, video games, games that bring us enjoyment, but most importantly, that have an aspect of beauty and interest to them. And as you may know, I'm a huge fan of Pinnacle Entertainment and their Savage Worlds game. Wearing the T-shirt, help them as a community, signal booster. And so today we're talking about something that John Doom, who's in the chat, good morning to John, and good morning to Tink, and good morning to Padre, got me hooked on, which is Deadlands Lost Colony. And today I am feeling famished. John, we're going to talk about Maw of Oblivion, new plot point campaign for Deadlands Lost Colony. If you don't know what Deadlands Lost Colony is, go check out episode 138, which is our episode where we talk about Deadlands Lost Colony. So today we're talking about Maw of Oblivion, and I'm just going to let you know, there are going to be spoilers. It's a plot point campaign, can't get around it. So if you are a player and you don't want Maw of Oblivion high level spoiled for you, go watch the episode on beauty. Always a good one, episode 100. So, Maw of Oblivion is a book that cost 25 bucks from Pinnacle, 96 pages, and it's chock full of stuff, like all of Pinnacle's products. How they get so much information in so little of a page count is always amazing to me, and probably the work of the tireless Brian Reeves, who just edits so well. I thank you, Brian, for all of the editing you do on my adventures. So this is a plot point campaign written by Daryl Hayhurst, and I have had the pleasure of knowing Daryl for several years. When he was working on Torg, got a chance to interact with him, hang out with him at conventions, and just talk with him. He's a great guy. Got to work with him on Space 1889 After, now available on PDF on DriveThruRPG from Strange Owl Games. There we go. And I'll put a link to Strange Owl Games Space 1889 After, as well as the PDF and print for Lost Colony, Maw of Oblivion, in the show notes. So, you get, I think the best, it's a plot point campaign. So the first couple of pages are the story so far, kind of brings you up to speed on what happened in The Devil You Know. And new gear, and then a couple of new edges. I think the best part about this is definitely the Razorjack arcane background, which is a new project where Hellstrom, well, in an attempt to create new psychers, have bonded a Manitou cybernetically to a willing test subject. So you get to play as somebody. They have a lot in common with like the Harrowed, because it is not a willing bonding. There's always this fight for dominion between the Razorjack and the spirit that is grafted to them. So you use the Dominion table like you would if you were a Harrowed, but has the feel of kind of a huckster without the playing of the cards. Because again, there's no dealing with the devil. You are forcibly bonded with the devil. So it's a cool new arcane background. But the core of the book is obviously the Maw of Oblivion plot point campaign. And as was revealed in our previous discussion, the Reckoners have come too far away. And that is good news for Hell on Earth and possibly for the universe, because Hellstrom has come up with the idea that this far away from the hunting grounds, the Reckoners could be dealt with maybe permanently. Depending on how you played through The Devil You Know, you'll find out what happened with war. This one centers around famine. And, oh yeah, John, we're going to spend so much money at GameholeCon. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to, I could not wait. I ordered a bunch of stuff from Chaosium and then was offered review copies like less than 24 hours after I purchased my stuff. Gotta learn to be a little more patient, JM. But Hyperborea is going to be there. I plan on buying a ton of adventures that I don't already have. And then Pinnacle's going to be there. So if you're going to GameholeCon, bring your wallet or purse or fanny pack. So it wouldn't be a sci-fi adventure about the Reckoner Famine if we didn't have a black hole. So, whereas the first plot point campaign was focused on Banshee, this is focused on the asteroid belt. And deep within the asteroid belt lies, and again, without spoiling a ton of the meta plot, there are these remnants of these cities kind of scattered throughout far away. And these cities go back to the native, the indigenous peoples' past and history, and they're tied in with the Reckoners, and they're tied in with the Skinnies. Again, this is a high-level discussion. And so, deep within the asteroid belt, there is this Croatan city that harnesses a black hole known as the Maw of Oblivion. And as the Maw hungers for matter, Famine hungers for life. And so it's sort of a match made in hell. And so through this plot point campaign, your heroes get put on the trail of the second Reckoner, which I hope means we're going to get 2 more plot point campaigns dealing with pestilence and death. And it's your job to try and stop them. But as this plot point campaign unfolds, the truth about Vanessa Hellstrom, what she's doing on Far Away, and what her tie is with the Reckoners begins to unfold. So at the end of this plot point campaign, assuming your posse is victorious, not only will you have a lead possibly on the next 2 Reckoners, but you'll understand sort of the machinations going on behind Hellstrom Industries on Far Away and the threat that Vanessa poses. Because remember, Vanessa's father was the Herald of Pestilence on Earth. Now, he sent the Reckoners here trying for redemption, but we should just keep in mind that they've created the Breakers, they created the Razorjacks. They're still dealing with this magic as technology. As we all know, magic in Deadlands comes from the hunting grounds. So all is not as altruistic as it seems. John Doom gets a Benny, as does Padre, for their black hole punning. Well done. So, I actually, as much as I like the Horsemen of War, I actually liked Maw of Oblivion more than The Devil You Know. I'm not saying that I wouldn't play through both of them. In fact, right now, The Devil You Know and Blood Drive are the 2 plot point campaigns I'm looking at for running for my wife and some of her friends. But I would run The Devil You Know in hopes of getting to Maw of Oblivion. Again, Daryl does an amazing job of taking all of the things hinted at or explicitly outlined by John and Nertz. So John Goff and Cheyenne Wright did the first one. He does a great job of taking all of this promise of the first, of the whole setting of Lost Colony, and takes that and weaves in new themes, new ideas, and pushes it, towards this fight with the last, the next of the Horsemen. So kudos, Daryl, and kudos to John and Cheyenne. Those are just amazing. So yeah, go check out Lost Colony. The PDF's not super expensive. The physical book's $25. Well worth it. Yes, John, that's the other thing I really liked about it as well. One of my, I don't want to say complaints, I understand why you did it this way. The Devil You Know is almost entirely on Banshee, which makes sense. Banshee is the core of the Lost Colony setting. However, you've got this asteroid belt and you've got this whole system to explore, and so Daryl really kind of leaves Banshee behind, and you spent most of your time in Maw, as John said, cruising around the system. It allows, it kind of explains the, it gives you more of a scope of the faraway system, which I love. Yet you'll probably just need a flood, although we could just, it probably is going to end in fire. like reading through Second Peter this morning. Definitely going to end in fire. So that's my look at Maw of Oblivion. You get a little bit on the player side, like most of the expanding plot point campaigns. You get John. That was. I need to send you something special. I'm going to bring you one of these. JM killed my PC and all I got was this button to GameholeCon, because Famine being a masshole is the height of what you bring to the channel. So big thanks to John Doom for saying, no, you really need to get this plot point campaign. I'm really hoping we're going to get a Hell on Earth Suede update at some point in the near future, because then I'd have the whole timeline. Because right now I have a little chunk missing. That brings us to the end of today's show. Not a long one, short book, short review, but a couple of big announcements. Tonight I'm going to be, or this afternoon I guess, at 5 Eastern. I'm going to be on the Savage Universe stream, streaming with Manu, who sadly I did not get to talk to during Swagtember. So we're just going to hang out and talk half hour, 45 minutes, nice and short and sweet, about the Swag program. Manu wrote the amazing Sprawl Runners, among other things. So it's going to be good to hang out and chat with him. I'm off this Thursday, both from Behind the Screen and from Savage Universe, but Chris Landauer will be taking over for me on Thursday, and he will be talking with the guys from 23rd Century Productions about Savage Battle Lords. The physical books are now in print, which reminds me I probably need to order my copies. Padre, I'm so excited for Deadlands Dark Ages. Hopefully, we're going to get more information about the Morgana effect. Oh, all right. All I can say is I have gotten to see some of the pages from the comic. It's going to blow your mind, guys. It's going to be amazing. Also, speaking of comics, I managed to get a couple more trades of The Sixth Gun. I think I'm missing 5 trades, and I can get 3 of them through my half-price books. If you need more Deadlands goodness, it's not official Deadlands, but it's so close that if you squint, it counts. The Sixth Gun has just been an amazing read. I can't wait to see how they finish that off. And I do have the Sixth Gun book for Savage Worlds, so that may end up getting dovetailed into my game. So, the other thing is, we're going to start a new show. It's not going to be a regular show. It's not going to be like Behind the Screen. It's not going to be... I don't know if it's going to be live or if it's going to be recorded and then aired, premiered. But one of the things that's kind of come out with a lot of discussions with you guys, and especially with Tink. Tink, thanks for being our social media person. You are doing an amazing job. Is how much I love history, and I love the history of gaming. And sadly, we're entering sort of the later years of what I would call, the second or third wave of RPG designers. And I want to hear their stories. So we're going to do a show kicking names around. I think right now we're looking at Beyond the Table. The stories of the games we play. We're going to have interviews with game designers. And it's not necessarily going to be about current products. We're going to be talking about the stories of what were their favorite games? How did they get into gaming? Why did they decide to start their company or their game line? Where are we going to see, what are some stories from those early days, the triumphs and the tragedies? Sort of to create this record, record this oral history of this hobby that we all love. Right now I've spoken with John Goff, Alexander McCrease, Shane Hensley of Pinnacle. I'm going to be reaching out to a bunch of others. And we're just going to hang out and we're going to talk about gaming. It'll probably be unscripted. I'm not going to edit a lot. But it's just going to be a hangout to sort of create a record of these games that we love. Where they came from. What are the biggest regrets? Maybe what are some pieces of advice of people who are starting? Tim Brown is basically a guarantee. I'm hoping that Rob Hainso and Jonathan Tweet are also guarantees, but I haven't asked them yet, so don't hold me to that. John and Rob, Jonathan and Rob, if you're watching this, I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm going to ask you. But between them and kind of an ever-branching network, I hope to do at least one show a month where we just get to hang out. I hope to get some of the Chaosium guys to talk about Greg Stafford and just about their memories of Greg. So, yeah, I think this would be a fun show that kind of dovetails in nicely with everything we talk about iconic, right? Beauty and interest. So, that's it. I'm off for a week after today. I do my once-a-year big gaming retreat. I've got 8 guys coming in, and we're going to be playing some 2nd edition D&D. It'll be the 2nd year of our 2E TPK event. Haven't had a TPK. 8 years, no TPKs. I would really like to change that. Yeah, Robin Laws. I want to reach out to Robin Laws. I want to reach out to Kenneth Height, John Wick. Again, I can't promise anything, but I'm hoping to find some time that works with us. I know I've got 2 interviews scheduled. John Goff will be, I think, on the 16th of October, and Alexander will be in early November. So keep an eye on the Iconic Discord, keep an eye on the Iconic socials to see when those times are going live. We'll make sure that we flood with announcement and amazingly awesome looking reels that Tink puts together for us. So that's where we're at. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I am JM. This has been Behind the Screen, and I will see you all later. Until next time, have a good one.